He came back to the States. We both came back to the States. He said, I love it there. Can we move there? And I said, to Spain? And he said, well, how about France? And I said, okay, I'm in.
Camino is such an amazing experience and an immersion that you have this major letdown when you come back home. We ended up with a temporary visa that said, yes, you get 1 year, but then you had to go back to the US. And if you want another visa, you have to apply again in the US. So we had the wrong visa.
Today, I am really happy to introduce you to a couple that is very dear to me. Gwen and Alan are one of those couples you don't forget. Not just because they moved to Nice and built a life on the French Riviera, but because of the energy they bring to everything they do. They live on the Promenade des Anglais, facing the sea, and they've become a bit of the rock stars of the Promenade des Anglais, from what I gathered from other people. Always out and about with their lovely dogs, Lucy and Kep. They are just the nicest people. Their openness, their gratitude, their ability to see the glass half full, even when things don't go exactly as planned. Gwen et Alan, bonjour, bienvenue.
Bonjour, Deborah.
Ça va? Vous allez bien?
Ah, ça va bien, merci. Et toi?
Très bien, oui. Il fait beau à Nice aujourd'hui?
Aujourd'hui.
Finalement, il fait beau aujourd'hui, mais un peu froid,
Le matin, 7 degrés.
7 degrés, et maintenant, 13 degrés.
Oui, pour Nice, c'est un peu froid. As we can see, you already speak good French, so we going back to this part, to the language.
Parce que notre professeur de français, Deborah.
Ah oui, c'est vrai, je suis votre professeur, je n'ai pas dit ça. Yes, I'm your teacher. Merci, Alan. I wanted to go back to the first moment. I have a question for Gwen, because I know that the whole idea came from Alan, if I'm correct. Alan went on the Camino de Santiago, and when he came back, or when you met him, Gwen, he had a mad proposal for you. Do you remember exactly how he phrased it and how he sold you on this idea? Do you remember exactly the moment?
Of course, bien sûr. The Camino was life-changing for him, and I could see why. I spent the last week on the Camino with him. He came back to the States. We both came back to the States. He said, I love it there. Can we move there? And I said, to Spain? And he said, well, how about France? And I said, okay, I'm in.
Ah yeah, so you had the doubt between, you weren't too sure at first between Spain and France. Did you have?
Well, I just thought, yeah, Spain, really? I don't know much about Spain. And, he said, I think France would be better. It's more central. And I took French in high school. My mother loved everything French.
And you went to France the previous year doing plein air painting.
That's right. Right. So the light is so beautiful. Nice is fabulous. We're right here by the Mediterranean Sea, and it's just a pure pleasure to be here.
So that was a good idea, Alan. You.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I'm so lucky.
We pinch ourselves every day that we did this.
Yeah, I'm the luckiest girl.
Is that a bit random? Like, did you, because you were doing the Camino, it was the Camino Frances. We call it Camino Frances, but it starts in France. But most of your Camino, Alan, was the Spanish part. But why, what plugged you with France and what plugged you with Nice? How did you come up with this very idea?
Gwen would let me go hiking for about backpacking for 4 to 5 weeks every year. And it so happened in 2024, I thought, wouldn't it be nice to do the Camino de Santiago? I'd heard about it. And I just thought this would be a wonderful experience. Well, it was actually life-changing. And the primary thing was it was taking the world away. You're literally walking every day. You're meeting people from all over the world. You're in a cultural setting mainly Spain, but also parts of France. It was a 500-mile, 5-week trip. I just couldn't believe the kind of experience it was. It was an immersion in truly living in Europe with Europeans. Now, France, again, is centrally located, but I also did meet a person, she's a good friend of ours now, her whole family. I mean, we're so close that one of their daughters calls us her American grandparents. We tell her to call us her American parents. We don't want to feel so old. But anyway,
Hermine, right?
I mean, so it's just the whole idea that Camino for 5 weeks was what we're experiencing full time now. I mean, and it was a part of getting away from life and thinking about life. And what Gwen said is when I came back to the US, and this happens to a lot of people, Camino is such an amazing experience and an immersion that you have this major letdown when you come back home. And coming back to our routine life in America, which was a great life, but it was routine, and just thinking about what a wonderful experience that was. So that's when I went to Gwen and said, "What do you think?"
For me, I'm European and I did the Camino many times, and I think that's one of the factors that brought us together as well, because I'm a Camino veteran and Camino lover, but I'm European. So for me, the intersection of culture, the melting pot, the interculturality, it's kind of not the norm, but I guess I'm quite used to it, and I never really saw it with your eyes, like it's something quite unique as an American, no? This mix of cultures and this brassage, the differences and all the meetings you have, the special meetings, no, in the Camino.
Right. And it was actually great because I didn't really associate with many Americans on the Camino. I associate with people from Germany, Denmark, England, UK, and France, of course. And so it was a melting pot. And every evening we usually were together or walking together and talking and sharing our lives. It was just an amazing, amazing experience.
Enjoying les menus du pèlerin, like those menus that they have, no, for the pèlerin.
Pilgrim's menu, yes.
Yeah, that's really
Yes.
good.
And lots of wine, of course.
Yeah. Did you go through the step where you have this unlimited wine fountain? Did you have this very
I
step?
went there, but I went to that place at 9 in the morning,
was too
so it was
early.
kind of strange.
Yeah.
Oh, did they have it at 9? I thought it was closed.
It was actually not open, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How long was the Camino for you? Like, how long did you walk for?
5.5?
Well, I was 5.5 weeks, and I walked from Saint Jean Pied de Port, which is right at the foot of Pyrenees, and then crossed the Pyrenees the first 2 days, and then into Spain, and then all the way to Santiago. So about 800 kilometers, 500 miles. And it's a very popular trail. I think there's 400,000 people that do it each year. One of the Caminos, not just the Frances, but this in particular, like you said, is the Camino Frances.
And I joined him at Sarria. Is that how I say it? Sarria?
Yeah. Yes.
Is it towards the end? Like one of the steps?
Yeah.
Nice. So you flew to Spain to meet him?
Yeah, with 2 girlfriends.
Mhm.
We spent some time in Madrid first, and then
Nice.
to meet up with Alan, and we all walked.
And so you did one step, the final step?
The final step, yeah.
That's nice.
Apparently, but it's just not the same experience as walking the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
lovely.
you got a sense, no, of what was the adventure, and you got to meet Alan's dear friend Gina.
Yeah, yes, we.
And let me
Wonderful.
tell you about Gina. Gina, her full name is Guiniel de Montgolfier. And she literally walked 1,500 kilometers. So she actually home near Clermont-Ferrand in the middle of France and walked for 3 months to Santiago. And
Did the classical Camino, no? The 3 months, starting
we
in this
got-
lovely, it's volcanic and beautiful area, no? Where, yeah.
And we have
Amazing.
we have hiked with them, Benoit and Gina, in the volcanoes up there,
Ah,
and it's just
Yes.
beautiful. Which is an amazing people, Americans or anybody doesn't realize that France has an area of beautiful mountains that were volcanoes, and they look like volcanoes with
Mhm.
green volcanoes. So it's beautiful.
it's
Yeah.
kind
And,
of an underrated place of France, no? This
Mhm.
area.
yes.
Mm.
And the big church in the middle of the city is black, volcanic.
Ah,
Clermont Blanc.
oui.
Yeah,
Yeah.
volcanic
Mm.
stone or something. Yeah, it's really cool.
But I would like to plug the book if I may.
Hmm.
She wrote a
Yes.
book about, okay.
Yeah,
She
yeah, yeah,
wrote a
of
book.
course.
Should I go get it?
Oh, well,
Yeah, yeah,
no.
go for it. Go for
Okay,
it. It's okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So your dear friend wrote a book about her experience, and I think you feature in the book, Alan. You mentioned that you are in the book.
Yes, because when I first met Gina, she was listening to the book Jane Eyre. She was
Jane Eyre.
Jane Eyre, walking and listening to the book, trying to learn English. And then I said, "Well, I'll be your English teacher." So I became her professeur de l'anglais, and it's in the book that I was the professor de l'anglais. And she even has a sketch of me in the book.
I'm looking for it.
I will put it on the screen for people to see. It's a lovely sketch made by her daughter, you mentioned, the other daughter,
Yeah,
Servan. Mm.
It's the book.
Très joli. Seul.
so
1500 kilomètres vers Compostelle. Wow. Because, can you mention a little bit, just to give a context, the life of Gina? Like, why that makes her Camino quite special?
for Gina, she had an illness, and she talks about it in the book for 7 years. And it was, they couldn't figure out what it was, but she was kind of tired and just couldn't really function. And I mean, her amazing husband took great care of her during that period. And, but as she got better, she just wanted to break out of that funk.
Hmm.
And so she decided to hike the Camino. That was like her way of proving that she could do something amazing. And that's and it was actually a new Camino. The part she started, she was even featured as the first to do that piece of the Camino. So
Basically from her home.
yeah, from her
Yeah,
home.
we often say the real Camino is the one you do from your home. Because in
Right.
a way, you can take the road that are not really traveled and you can make it your Camino. And they say the real one is the one you do from your home. But I mean, for you in the USA, it would have been quite complicated to do it from your home. But how amazing is that? Like, you actually met because you decided to create this time for yourself away from your life, away from the USA, and somehow like it takes a lot of factor to get to meet this very person at this very time. And I think that makes the beauty as well of the friendship. No, it's quite special that you meet right like at this special moment of your life, and it was a special moment of Gina's life, and you became really good friends, and you kept on seeing each other after the Camino.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, and the amazing thing is, many expats here find it difficult to integrate with the French, because of the language barrier or the cultural barrier or whatever. So we just feel very fortunate that we have, they're almost like family to us. So it's, Guinness, she helps me with my French every week as well as with Gwen. So Gwen takes,
Speak on the phone.
Kind enough to we just have a little conversation each week. Yes,
Ah,
separately because Alan's much further along in his French adventure than I am. But between you and Gina and Sabine, and now there is a little conversation, tea and conversation at our local church. Petit à petit,
Yeah.
step by step. We
oui, petit à petit. Ouais, It's beautiful, Alan, that you mentioned that, because Nice is renowned for the extensive international community. And I think for some people, it's a factor that drawn people to Nice because they think, okay, we are going to make friends easily. And I guess that for you, it's partly true because you are well integrated and you have American friends, expat friends. But I think you also live beyond this American bubble. I think you have a bit of a variety of friendship from what I gather, no?
Absolutely.
Oh, I have to brag on Gwen because she is such friends with our voisins, our neighbors, and the shops around here that she's bonjour. She'll wave to them. They'll hug. They'll do the kiss.
Bees.
And we have a bees, and we have Cafe Coco. We just go to the cafe, and the owner and all the family just come out and hug
They're
because
lovely.
it's
Yeah.
just we feel very close to our neighbors. It's just a great feeling.
The wine shop even gave me a discount.
Ah, no doubt, no doubt. How to
And the
resist?
cafe doubles her alcohol, I think, in her drinks. But the
We
But-
don't need to put that in there.
Oh no, that's really great. I think it just show. I quote you as examples to people because I think sometimes people, for instance, who decide to move to France or to a country without the language at first, they feel that somehow it's going to be impossible to connect with the local. But with you, you give me the example. I mean, you speak French, but at the very beginning, I can tell that you are just so lovely and just your attitude, your smile, the way you look at people, and naturally with your, the body language and the way you present yourself, that creates the connection. And sometimes it also goes beyond the words, no? It's just they see you and something is happening, no? The connection will happen naturally, I imagine, for you.
Yeah. The other thing I want to mention to people, especially those that are thinking of coming here, it's not like a vacation. When a vacation, the people, like the shop owners and everybody, they see you as a tourist. But when you're living here, they see you as their neighbor, and that's just a wonderful. And that's one of the great experiences of living in France, is feeling connected.
And I love the culture of being very polite. Always say hello when you go into a shop or to your friends or even strangers. I was in the vet office the other day, and when people walk in, they say bonjour to the whole place. It's so great, and au revoir too. And even the little buses, people get on, they say bonjour to the bus driver, and then they get off and they say merci, au revoir.
You don't do that where you're from in the USA?
Oh, you kidding?
No.
It's a culture in the United
You
States.
don't ever get on a bus in the U.S. The other thing, and this is I attribute to Gwen, but going to the pharmacy is so much fun for us because the pharmacist is so sweet and nice, and we just chit chat.
Bavarder, oui.
She speaks French.
She only speaks
so
French.
it's good.
Yeah.
Those are the best. They are your best friends. You need to find those people. I always say in your life, pick those people who have like the French people, les Français, with like some patience and some quality, and go to them. Find them, the one that don't speak English as well, and like just go there, and maybe go there when it's not rush hour, l'heure de pointe. When it's like maybe a time where there is not so many people, and that's the best. It's like French language school for free. I think that's a good opportunity. So it's good that you found the pharmacien à Nice.
They still get their point across, though.
Ah, yeah,
Okay.
of
even though
course.
I may not understand everything, they still help me understand.
Ah, yeah. They would take the time and yeah. But
And then Google Translate on my phone. That's the last resort.
do you use the Google Translate?
Google Translate, oui.
Yeah, you use it quite a bit.
Un peu.
Un peu. Also to take picture, like when you take picture that translates things for you, that's quite handy, no? When you take picture, yeah, that could be useful.
especially in the markets, I will try to translate things first before I get there because I can't always get Wi-Fi in the markets, the supermarché,
Yeah.
and they may not call it quite what I want to say. Like, you, it's hard to find grits here. Okay,
Great.
probably don't know what grits are, but they I can get them online, but I can't get them. I can't find them in the supermarché.
Ah, of course. Yeah. So it's a bit of a mission.
Oui.
Yeah,
Ouais.
yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's about the also it's the adaptation. No, there are things that you can't find, even if it's quite international. But for sure, we mentioned also the cut at the butcher. They are not the same in France and the US.
Oui.
Wait, there's a butcher shop here. There is, you go into the grocery store in the US generally.
No, it's so great.
Yeah.
We love the going to the individual boulangerie, the boucherie, the patisserie. Yeah, it's just a wonderful thing. Yeah.
I think that's one of the best, from what I gathered from other Americans, the most enjoyable pleasure of the slow life in France is the walkability, to be able to walk from one place to another, and these little custom habits that people have to shop, as you mentioned, à la fromagerie, boucherie, poissonnerie, le marché. It's quite pleasurable, no? As an experience.
Yes, and even the open air markets like Courcelette
In Nice, of course.
and
Yeah.
Libération. Very nice.
Is
Yeah,
it
the
close to
seafood
your flat? No, you live close to the market, no?
Oui.
And that's one of the beauties again of Nice, especially, is that we don't have a car here, and it's freeing. We love the fact that we on a car.
We do a lot of walking, and which is very healthy, and
Oui.
bike, and of course the bus and the tram are our best friends. So most of them are electric, and it's just it all works. It just I think about when we were in the States, you would go from your air-conditioned house to your air-conditioned car. And, if it was beastly hot outside, it was okay because you were only out there for 30 seconds at most. Here, you really have to dress for the weather.
Or not.
Or not
dress
dress.
down. It's so hot.
Like it will be warm in the sun here, but in the winter, it can be warm in the sun, but in the shade, it can be freezing feeling. So, the scars, the layers, you just
And
have
you can always come back home if you forgot something.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's
You know
another
what?
lifestyle.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
It's just a lifestyle that we never experienced, and it's just everything is positive. Now I think you might get to some of the negatives that we ran into, but those are easy.
Like living in close quarters all the time.
Now, I would say the bureaucracy can be.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
the big-
let's go back to it because I mentioned it in the intro, and I think that happened to you quite soon after we first meet, after you first arrived. I remember this class where you had a bit of a disappointed face, and I asked you what's going on, and you were like, I think we applied for the wrong visa. So tell us about that. Bring us back to this moment where you found out. Tell us also the name of the visa you first went for and how you had to change it and go back to the US. Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, so everybody that wants to get a visa for France, the initial place you have to go to is one of the visa centers in the US. So basically, we had to go to Atlanta. Atlanta had this visa center. We had to give them a lot of documentation, but a key part of that was you had to have a place to live in France, and you had to let them know how long you planned to stay in France. Well, I think we didn't do a good job of that because. And then the Atlanta office will send it to the French embassy in Washington, D.C., and then it'll get returned. So we got it returned. Everything was fine. We thought, hey, we got this great visa. Well, we had applied for a visitor visa, or some people call it a retirement visa, and it gives you the ability to have 1 year and then renew it in France every year. Well, we ended up with a temporary visa that said, yes, you get 1 year, but then you have to go back to the US. And if you want another visa, you have to apply again in the US. So we had the wrong visa and we were very upset. And then we had to be nice and talk to you that day. And
But to be fair, we did plan for a year. We thought, let's just go there for a year. And that's what we told the visa people. So they took us at our word.
and said,
Yeah.
okay, you're not going.
Our advice would be to say, if you plan to, want to, renew your visa in France, tell them you'd like to stay for 3 years.
Yeah,
Or
whether you are.
you are or not.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so we ended up having to go back again. We did this past December. We went back to Atlanta
For Christmas
and saw all our kids, and then we
Found a house sitter for your dogs, correct? You had to find a solution, not to make the dog fly again. Poor dogs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And we stayed for a whole month in the States. But our visa, because we didn't know how long it would take, our visa was done in a week.
nice.
So it's very quick. And so now we've got the right visa, BLS,
Bravo.
and we can renew here in Nice every year.
Okay, so that's good. You are back on track. I like, when you mentioned the visa story, straight away, I find that, Gwen, you took responsibility and you said, well, in a way, we didn't know much, and that's what we said to the people. And I find here maybe we have one of your secrets for the mindset, that I find you always very positive, even though the very morning when you had this news, we were a bit disappointed. But I find that, it didn't dishearten you, this news. You were like, well, we find a solution and we go back to the US and we turn it into a beautiful trip, get together with the kids. And I think you have this ability, to be resilient and take the most of every situation, take responsibility. Tell us a little bit about how you deal with those kind of events, because I think you are inspiring. To me, you are very inspiring.
Well, thank you. I mean, there's enough stress in this world without piling onto yourself, right? So, of course, I do depend on this one quite a bit, but I think it's just treating others the way you want to be treated, I think is my mantra. It's so much easier to be kind, and if it's possible at all to be understanding, then why not do it?
Yeah, Treasure. That's a good motto in France, because I think anybody that goes through this process, they do run into roadblocks. Language is a big roadblock, especially if you got workers coming or somebody. It's just, or the fear of seeing a French number trying to call you on the phone. Major fear.
Hello?
So,
Hello?
and then the paperwork. There is a lot of paperwork. I mean, there is busy work when you're here, but you know what? For us, it's paradise. So it's worth it. So it's very easy to be positive.
Tell us a little bit about let us picture for us one day in Savannah. Savannah, do I pronounce correctly where you are from in the US?
Actually, Beaufort, South
Near
Carolina.
Beaufort, Savannah.
Savannah, but Savannah sounds nicer.
So 1 year ago, more than one, because you told me recently that it's been a year since you are in Nice, but drive us towards one day in your life in Beaufort, in comparison with one day of your life at Nice. Tell us the difference, typically. How starts a day in the USA?
Alan is much more structured than I am. It would be easier for me to tell you about his day.
Tell about my day. Go ahead. I want to hear what my day is.
In Beaufort, he gets up, walks the dogs, and then goes to the gym for a couple of hours, and then he'll come back. And if it's nice enough day, he'll have to make himself lunch and then go to the pool or the beach, and come home and do whatever we need to do and watch TV at night or whatever. And but here he gets up, we walk the dogs, then he goes and works out for a couple of hours, Comes home, makes his own lunch, showers, and then we have the afternoon together, probably a nap. And on Thursdays is a special day because the dogs get a play date out for the day. So that's his day off from the gym. So we plan a trip to or a bike ride to Castle Hill or a train ride to Antibes. So that's a real special thing. Having the dogs does restrain us from doing far afield travel, but that one day a week is nice for little short trips.
Nice, yeah, it's a good ritual.
Yes.
Un bon
What
rituel.
got
Okay.
big time
Walking
is the
dogs.
tradition of an apéro in France.
Oh, that's true.
Ah, tell us about it.
And the beauty of that is everything is indoors in the US, usually because it's too hot, you know. So you don't have cafes where you're just sitting outside, and that is one of the pure pleasures of being here. And that's just you go out. I have an Aperol Spritz. I don't know. You'll have a Moscow Mule, and we'll just sit and people watch. And it's many times it's in front of our apartment because we have a cafe. We know the owners. They double the alcohol in her drink.
Ah.
And
Comment s'appelle le propriétaire? What's the name of the owner of the cafe?
Dolce Memento.
Belir, le propriétaire est Belir.
Ah, okay.
And his wife, Miriam.
Et le café,
They're delightful. They're so sweet. And they help us with our French. And she likes me to help her with her English.
So you became les habitués. Les habitués are the people who, you know, they have their habits in a coffee and a bar. So you became one of them. And usually they have a special treatment, les habitués.
Oh. Yeah.
another beauty of here, and you mentioned it, we're on the Promenade des Anglais. And for people that don't know that, that's a major walkway right along the sea. And so many a day we will just, and Nice is known for the blue chairs that are along the Promenade des Anglais. So sitting out on the blue chairs, watching the sea and enjoying people watching or talking. I mean, it's a slower life. It's not
Yes.
a hassle. It's not car related. There's no car involved, and it's outdoor. Everything is outdoor here. So
Avec le ciel bleu, the blue sky.
And the sea,
et les mers.
it changes. You know, when the weather changes, it changes. The colors are gorgeous.
Les couleurs est très jolie.
Some days it is très calm.
Mm.
And some days it's stormy, but it's never.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just I don't know.
Does that make your mood change? You reckon that your mood changes according to the sea?
It's not the sea that makes my mood change. It's the gray skies. If it ever gets gray and chilly and rainy, you know, then it's
Not
like,
that often in Nice, no? It's not.
no, we're very spoiled
We
here.
have more than 300 days of sun a year, I think.
Yeah.
And our current mayor has done a wonderful job with Nice, greening it up and bringing in transportation, public
Les
transportation.
parcs.
But he lost the election yesterday, so
Ah, yes, oui, the municipal, les élections Oh, that's a shame.
we love Mayor Trozy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was beloved. I heard really good things.
I don't understand.
Yeah. It's a shame you couldn't vote. I know. I don't know after how many years you can start voting. I interviewed recently an expat that's been in France for 17 years, Suzy, and she could vote for the local election. She was really happy. But I don't know how many years that can happen. Let's go back to what you said, Gwen, because when you mentioned the color of the sky, of the sea. I also wanted to say that you are an artist, because we mentioned the day-to-day life of Alan, like his routine, but also you are an artist, and if possible, we could display some of your work because I really like your style and I think how does that fit with your life here in Nice? Do you have the habit do you take the habit to paint in the promenade? Did you meet other fellow artists? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I have not met a lot of fellow artists yet, but I'm working on that. I have joined a group called Urban Sketchers, and I think they meet a couple of times a month. And so that is scary for me because they're really good, but I think it's very good practice. And sketching is, if I want to improve my art, um, I should do it every day.
Well, you teach an art class to French people too.
Well, okay, that sounds
Yes.
better than it is. A friend of mine, Karen Wilson, asked me to join her at ABF to teach a 6-week art class with her, and of course, they almost all the students are French, and
Ooh la la!
yes, but we have a translator, so that helps. And you've helped me with some of the vocabulary for, painting.
Les phrases typiques, non? Les couleurs, le pinceau, la toile, l'esquisse. That's your favorite word? Croquis, esquisse. Croquis, exact. Ouais.
And so that's been fun.
Do you feel inspired as an artist?
Oh,
Those colors and it's a very artistic area where you are.
Yes,
Like this area of France.
oui, and the light is there's something special about it here. And the palm trees, it's iconic. Just you walk outside and it's every postcard you'd ever see of the south of France. Just absolutely beautiful. And there's so much going on here all the time.
It's stressful.
Alan, you said it's overwhelming, like all the cultural events. Do you have a bit of FOMO sometimes, fear of missing out the events or?
A little, sometimes, like the Jazz Festival or the Lemon Festival. I missed that this year.
The Carnival in Nice. Oh my goodness.
How was that?
Oh, it's fantastic.
It was fantastic. It's beautiful floats. I mean, but it's crazy because a lot of people come to Nice.
The lines. Yes, the lines are very.
Too much sometimes, un peu trop, un peu trop.
Yeah.
You mentioned the AVF, Accueil des villes françaises. I think this is something worth mentioning for people who decide to move to a new place because this not only exists in Nice, but it exists in the major town cities of France. So can you explain what is the AVF? The place, which one you give the drawing class, the painting class with this place? What is it exactly?
Well, it is a community of folks that are especially welcoming to newcomers to Nice. And they give French classes, they give English classes, they give art. There's a hiking group, bicycle group, yoga. I mean, just about anything that you want to do, they've got somebody that will teach it.
And that's kind of interesting that France puts a focus on that. And it's like you said, Deborah, it's not just Nice that's doing that.
Mhm.
It's like every, even I think some of the smaller towns and villages have these programs. And it's kind of like it's a concerted effort to provide these kind of cultural activities for their citizens.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's just a nice feeling.
Yeah, because it's almost free. I think you pay this yearly fee. It's very cheap.
Yes, it's €49, and then some of the classes you have to pay extra.
Okay. But yeah, considering what they bring, sometimes it ends up to be very, very cheap to participate to those activities, and you meet people. And I think it's good when, especially, I guess, you don't have this problem of social integration because naturally you become friends with everyone. And for you, I don't think that was necessary. But I think for some people, they have difficulty. Maybe they're a bit shy when they move to a new place. So to have like something like that can really help for integration, no?
Mhm. Absolutely, for sure. Just putting yourself in someone else's shoes is something that's always helped me, be, maybe friendly you know, because everybody's got insecurities of some kind, right? So you just have to remember, you know, everyone's got a story. So I feel like, you know, I just try to meet people where they are.
That, you know, and that's interesting you say that because when people come to France, at least us, and I think it happens to a lot of others, the first 2 to 3 months, that's tough.
Mm.
I mean, I'm timid. I mean, I even admitted it to several of my French friends. You know, talking to anybody and feeling kind of isolated is tough. But after after a while, it starts getting easier and easier and easier.
Yes.
You don't strike me as very timid, Alan, but maybe you are a secret timid.
You know, people think that of me. They think I'm not a timid person. I'm actually more of an introvert than I am extrovert. And Gwen brought out a lot of the, you know, she's the one that's friendly with everybody, and I happen to be with her, so it works for me.
Nice. Yeah, thank you for mentioning the hardship of the first months. Can you tell us what was the like because we mentioned all the enthusiasm around your experience and how it's been flowing, but what was the most difficult part for you? Also, you are far from your children. Do you sometimes miss your family? Like, do you have any like cultural shock or moment that was maybe a little bit hard for you?
Well, the most difficult moment we had was the very first month. And
The Airbnb,
not, yeah,
on the
Airbnb,
weekends.
yeah. But then, you know, getting our first apartment was not a good place. And
No.
there's a problem in housing, especially if you want rent in Nice. It's tough. It's tough. And a lot of people will get agencies to help them and others don't. But it's not easy. And our first place was terrible. And so no sooner did we get in it, and it was almost like we had to sign that we had to find another place. So that was the frustration. And with that place, the frustration was getting the electrical, getting a bank account, getting telephones. Those are the things that can kill the joy in the. And so I'm afraid there's probably people that in the first few months are saying, I can't take this. I got to go back.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I will tell people, stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
Stick with it.
Give us a little context about how you first moved. So you had the Camino de Santiago. You convinced Gwen very easily. She was on. Then you went back to the US, I imagine. Or did you go back to Nice straight away after the Camino? Did you had a little stopover in Nice or no?
Nope.
No, you went to the US.
Went
You
to
did.
the US, and we visited Nice.
We visited Nice the following October.
Yeah, so I got back to the U.S. from the Camino in June. We did, and we went and visited Nice in October because I'd never seen Nice. You know, we were thinking Aix-en-Provence was where we wanted to be.
Ah,
And so we checked out X, and then we worked with an agency, and I'm not going to name any agency. I don't want to do that, but the agency said you got to try Nice, and so we did, and it was love at first sight for me. So
coup de foudre. Coup de foudre pour Nice. Ah,
I mean, the weather sold us. And
yeah. And
Yeah.
then you mentioned that first you arrived in Nice, staying in a short-term Airbnb. That's how you began.
yes, but on Rue de France, but it gets very noisy on the weekends. People are up all hours of the night, and so it was quite noisy. Luckily, our new apartment has very good double pane windows.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, you love your apartment. I think you find a really good one, no?
I feel like we kind of got a little bit with the agency that we were with. You know, they kind of scared us, like there's not much out there. You better get what we can find. A little bit of fear mongering, and so we chose it sight unseen. I mean, we saw it online.
The first place.
The first place. But even after getting here, we couldn't even go see it in real life before we signed on the dotted line. And thank goodness, France is very tenant friendly. So once we were in there and realized this was not a good fit, we were able to give them a 30-day notice. And
Nice.
we were was too.
But our proprietor here, we love him.
Ah, magnifique.
His sister lives here. They
Not
are
here, but in the building.
in the building, yeah, and
Voisine, la voisine.
La
and
voisine.
he lives in Paris, and he wanted this for his retirement, but then he decided, I love working with my patients in Paris, so stay as long as you want. And we said, thank you.
Wow. And how did you find this very flat? It was so first you went with this agency that you don't want to mention, just because I know people will ask maybe. But then did you find this house by yourself?
Yes. So the site that we were recommended by a friend to look on the site Seloger. And Seloger, there people need to understand real estate is not like in the US. There isn't a central place.
No MLS.
Well, you're using acronyms that people may not know. But anyway,
American.
Seloger is a kind of an aggregator as best as you can get in France. And I saw this apartment, and this is, again, our luck, our fortune, because this will not happen again. So we called. They said, well, come, can you come look at the apartment? We looked at it. We said, we love it. And they said, well, okay, it's yours. And that was it. And yeah, très facile.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Where
No guarantee needed.
no guarantee needed, which is what Americans generally have to get, or expats. And not only that, I mean, he's constantly wanting to improve the place for us. He wants,
Wow.
yeah,
When things break, he fixes them.
yeah, and you know, he wants to go beyond what we even ask. So we just feel extremely
Wow.
fortunate. I don't want to give the impression it's that easy, you know,
This
because
is
it
your,
is.
your specific situation, but it's good. It's refreshing to hear, though. It was without an agency. It was particulier, like the landlord didn't use an agency.
Yes.
That's right.
Ah, okay.
So it was
Yeah.
direct with the proprietor, and it was through Seloger, but directed to that.
I guess it just clicked. He saw you. He trusted you. I think it's sometimes also you have those trust relationship. Like sometimes if the person think that yes, you are a lovely couple and they trusted you would be respectful, and that's why it just didn't go for the regular procedure.
Yeah, I think so.
It was so easy, Deborah, that we were a little worried that it might be a scam. So we asked
Une
him,
arnaque. A scam is une arnaque. Yeah, that exists as well. You have to be careful.
we politely asked for proof that he actually owned the apartment. And he was happy to do so.
Happy to
Yeah.
do so.
Yeah.
No, but you are right, because there are so many scams, arnaque out there, especially when they ask you to put money up front. You have to be really careful. We hear stories like that.
Yes. Yes.
As you have many American friends, do you think your situation is rare when you compare with other people, or have you observed people also chanceux, lucky to find a good place? Or I imagine there is a lot of different situations. People buy houses as well, like. But so what?
Buying is easier because I will tell you, there are many places for sale, and generally what is out there for rent, there's things that they don't like about it, and they're going to rent it out, or it's, you know, it's just not top quality stuff. But there's some jewels among those that are rented out, and we have friends that have a beautiful place. I mean, with 3 balconies and 125 square, which is huge.
Wow.
That's another thing to warn our Americans looking at this. You don't have 3,500 square feet of houses here. You don't have 5 bedrooms and 3 baths. We celebrated with champagne when we got 2 toilets in our apartment. 2 toilets you need. It's
Exaggerate.
Yeah. But with primo location, like in front of the sea,
yes.
it's different.
We have
you know,
105 square meters, which is 1,100 square feet, and that's like a third of a house for an American family. So it's
Yeah, I think as well, like like back in the US, of course, like most of the people, you own your house. You are, your where you live is your house with your furniture. Here, like for instance, behind you, we have like some sort of art, and that belongs to the propriétaire.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about living without your furniture? I mean, it's kind of it's an interesting style. Your house, I think, it's quite modern. And but how do you feel about that? Did you adapt easily to not having all your things and?
Oh, sure. I mean, it's so well stocked. We we don't need really anything, but we just fill in the things that we want or need. And I actually picked up a piece of junk furniture off the street a few weeks.
I do that all the time.
You should hear this story. So we're going to church. She sees this side table in this junk pile with a toilet, an old toilet on the side of the road. And she says, I need that piece. And I kept on trying to hope that they would pick it up before we had to go get it. And nope, they didn't. So we went and got it. And we've gotten so many compliments for this piece.
I'll send you a picture.
There is a lovely word for that in French. It's called glaner. Glaner. Glaner, I think there is a famous painting, I can share it with you, Les Glaneurs. It used to be the people after the harvest that used to take what was left on the field. If there were like some abandoned potatoes, they would glaner les pommes de terre.
En anglais, glean.
Glean. Yes. So we could say that Gwen, that was like le glanage, because we have a documentary. I will give you the link. It's called Les Glaneurs and les Glaneuses. Is a lovely director called Agnès Varda. She's an artist. She used to be a beautiful woman, and she has a documentary where she speaks of this art of upcycling, recycling, giving second life, and I think that's very French as well. Something quite French to do.
Yeah. Very French.
I'm trying to be very French.
Let me go back to give also some context, some things I know about you that maybe the people don't know, because I think that you adapted quite well. But you mentioned to me that you both come from families where your parents were in the militaries, and you in your childhood, even though like in your adult life you lived in the US, but in your childhood you had to move a little bit. Could you tell us, give us context about that, and maybe if there is an incidence on on the childhood, on this desire to live abroad after retirement?
I think because we moved so often, we had wings, but no roots. And so I lived several places in the States and several places abroad. Most of my overseas stations were in the hot countries like Southeast Asia and
Vietnam, you mentioned.
Vietnam, Thailand, and the Philippine Islands. My father was a World War II pilot, and when I came along, kind of late in his life, he was able to pick the places he could be stationed at, and he always wanted the warm countries. My brothers got Germany and the colder places. But we call ourselves grasshoppers because we cannot seem to sit still. Even in our marriage, we probably moved, I don't know, 5 or 6 times in our 5-year marriage. So.
And I think what we've learned from that is how to adapt.
Yes.
So yes, we had to adapt because every 3 or 4 years we were in a new place. And so.
Flexibility.
So frankly, I'm ready to put down roots, and those roots are here in Nice instead of moving again. Right?
Interesting.
Right.
Okay, so here we touch a point, I think. Can you give us more context about that? Because tell us, when you motivated Gwen to move, what was the time, like what time frame did you have in mind? We stay in Nice for how long? And how this has changed? What's your plan? Because I know you have kids back in your country, and maybe the kids maybe one day have great children. And I think there is a bit of a question mark here, no? Could you tell us about that?
We gave it 1 year when we got here, and then about 6 months in, I said, Gwen, can you give me 3 years? And she said, yes, I'll give you 3 years. And now I'm going to work on her to give me forever.
Yes.
And this is a big thing, is how do you work it with the children? We have 3 children, one in Los Angeles, two in North Carolina, and
One of whom is probably going to move to New York.
one of the North Carolina. So Tim's in Los Angeles, Matt's in North Carolina, and Anna, our youngest at 22 years old, is also in North Carolina. Matt's going to probably move to New York. So the truth of the matter is they're going to be all over the U.S. And we have no grandchildren. One is married, but no grandchildren at the moment. And so the thing is we can't have a place in the U.S. where we have all our kids near us. So it's a plane flight no matter what. And we make it happen with Zoom calls once a week that and organize with the kids or more, and we're in constant contact with them. And we
Yes.
are making plans for when we do have a grandchild, and that's that we're gonna ask, have
Petits enfants. You are going to teach them French.
yeah. If we could convince our daughter to move here, we'll love it.
Oh.
Brought her when she was little. Oh,
Yeah,
well, c'est la vie.
c'est la vie.
Yeah. But how does your plan is going, Alan, about convincing Gwen to stay forever? How is Gwen? Are you warming up?
But
Yeah, here's the deal. The deal is this. She gets to go to the U.S. as many times as she wants. But on top of that, and me too, but on top of that, our daughter is getting married. And we said to our daughter, you're getting married next year. We want to get a house. It's your house. But you have to give us a bedroom and a bathroom. And so it's your house, but we get a bedroom and bathroom. And so when the petit enfants arrive, then we can come and stay as long as we want or as little as we want and go back to Nice. And if Gwen wants to, yeah,
Un pied à terre.
if Gwen wants to stay a month because the baby's a brand new baby, fine. And I can stay a week or two and come back to Nice.
Ah, that's a good deal, I think.
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't have to say, yes, I'll be here forever, because, I still reserve the right to
Yes.
make that decision later.
Yeah. 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 Sometimes when you live next to your family, your relatives, sometimes you get to see them all the time, but you don't necessarily have the quality time. But like, for instance, if you go there, as you mentioned with your plan of the house, if you go there for 1 month and get, to have all those daily interaction and make the most of it, because after you know that there is the separation and the distance, it changed the nature of the time you spend with them. So it's different, but it can also work.
And one other thing that others, especially retired people, are concerned about is their health care. They think, yeah, I've heard it from others that when they get to a certain age, they want to go back to the States because of the health care. And it's like, really? Because the health care, as far as I'm concerned, is great here.
It's very good.
And we've had friends that one of our friends who had his wife, she's since passed, but she had Parkinson's, and the healthcare system took care of them and had daily nursing or weekly nursing,
Whatever they
house
need.
cleaning, whatever they needed. Personally, for me, I mean, I've got my own general doctor now. She's wonderful. I have a dentist who's wonderful. And I've been to, had appointments at the labs to do x-rays, and it's all been wonderful. And guess what? At a very low cost.
En français, Alan, en anglais, un mélange, a mix in terms of the language you use in those interactions?
Ah oui, un mix. And ma femme demandait si je veux parler en français.
Ah,
So, so they ask if I want to speak French,
that's
and
nice.
I usually say, not really. I want to speak English.
Oh.
And my general doctor, her English is not very good, so it's great because we can do a little mix franglais.
Franglais, yeah, you are forced to. No choice, pas de choix. Yeah,
Sure.
pas le choix.
Some of the vocabulary, you could
The medical vocabulary, yeah, you gotta, yeah.
have to
Yeah.
translate.
Yeah, because
So
it's
I've been
something
very
serious. So I imagine why sometimes if you have the opportunity to have it in English, it's so important. So you don't want to miss out, or you want to really understand.
And
possible.
the French system, they have this application called Doctolib. And Doctolib, I can look up and say, what kind of doctor do I need? Okay, here they are. I would like I'd like a doctor that can speak English. Okay, here they are. And then okay, here, set up an appointment. Everything I do is through Doctolib.
Sometimes it will say if you're bilingual.
Oh yeah, no,
Yes, yeah, you can filter, you can put the filter English and you can find the list of the doctors that would speak English. But to be fair, to give context to people, I think you have this sensation because in Nice, probably there is plenty of doctors, it's quite international. But if you decide to go in a small village in Dordogne or, maybe the reality will be different, I imagine.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yeah, for the hospitals, and there is un vide médical. There is like some lack of doctors and specialists. Sometimes you have a waiting list that's very long. So yeah, I think maybe Nice is. I think a lot of people want to move to Nice also because of that, because they know that there is good hospitals, good connection. I think Nice ticks a lot of boxes. No?
Very international.
Well, Nice has the weather. Nice has a major airport, especially for people that want to go back and forth. It's got a great healthcare system. I mean, the city has transformed itself. It greened the city. It's much more pedestrian, bike friendly. I mean, there's so many reasons to pick Nice. And again, yeah, the rural areas, it's tougher.
Be careful, Alan, you are going to convince a lot of people to move to Nice, and you are going to have a wave of.
I don't think it takes me to convince them. I think they already know.
I think other things
Yeah,
are really convincing them.
yeah.
You mentioned, that maybe vos enfants, your kids, are going to have des petits-enfants, great kids, and it's quite far. It's another continent. But how do they feel in general about you taking this leap? Like, how do they feel about you changing your life and like building something completely new abroad in France? What's their reaction?
Well, they aren't young anymore. They're grown-ups, and they are very happy for us, actually. My second son is an occupational therapist, and he said, "Mom, this is really good for your brain, learning French." So they're happy.
He's
for
right.
us. Yes, it's true. It's true.
And the truth of the matter is, 2 of the 3 have been here already, and the third one is coming in the fall.
Oh, yes.
So, and we have planned that they'll be here quite a bit, as well as we'll be back there quite a bit. So.
And that's why you have also an extra bedroom, no? It was also to entice your kids to come, and for them it's nice, no, to have a secondary house.
Exactement.
Yes, for our family, but not for any other guests.
Yeah.
So anybody listening to this,
This is no, Alan, you're right. It's worth mentioning because I have some students that says that the first year they move in France, they feel overwhelmed because they send invites to everyone, and they are like they feel that they are always hosting people, and it could be tiring, I imagine.
It's lovely to see you.
Yeah. I wanted to, as time is flying, I just wanted to finish with the language. Because, well, I'm your teacher, so I know a little bit about, how you are dealing with it. I know you have different rhythm. And I remember of you, Alan, at some point you had a little bit of frustration of, having sentences in your head, but sometimes freezing. But I kind of feel that you overcome that. And the same for you, Gwen. I think sometimes, like at the beginning, there is some insecurities, but I think now it's, maybe also there is the honeymoon at first with the language, and then there is, the reality of it. So can you tell us a little bit of feedback towards how you feel with the language? How do you feel now, a year later, with French, le français?
Le français est très difficile.
Very difficult. No. The thing is, at first, I started out with the Duolingo app, and that's great. That gets you the vocabulary, but it doesn't get you the real conversation. And then we got you, Deborah, and you gave us. So, for people's knowledge, Deborah's not just a French teacher; she's also a therapist. She's a therapist. She can talk you off the wall, because you're frustrated. But and then you give us the structure around what we're asking for. So it's very flexible as to what avenue we go down. But then the third part, which is making me feel much better now, is I'm now in conversation groups. So there's a church with French people. So each table has two French, two Americans or English speaking, and we speak English for a while, and then we speak French for a while. So they learn, we learn. And I have that. And in Guina, we have Gina once a week. So, and that conversational part is kind of like the third tier that will get you to be more comfortable doing it. Yeah.
Can you tell us about the language exchange that you do, like échange linguistique? Is that through the church you mentioned?
It's at the church, not really through the church. So it's been going on for years. And it took a person that said, I want to put French and Anglos or English speaking people together, because there's so many French that want to learn English, and
that's great,
and English that want to learn French. And I mean, it was amazing. And my first time I went was last week, and these two French women grabbed me and said, "You're with us," and I said, "Okay,"
So, check it out. Oh no!
And I had fun.
Full immersion.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah, you have to get there and yeah, just as you mentioned, l'immersion, just to dive into it. And sometimes there is this fear factor and you're scared to freeze, but it's by doing that we get there.
And what they told me was, they actually said, Alan, your French is pretty good. Obviously you mess up a lot on conjugation and things like that. And they go, but that doesn't matter. You'll get there.
They still understand us.
They still understand, and they know what you're saying.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we get blocked with those, the fear of the mistakes, and you just have to accept it. And what matters is the communication. What matters is to be understood. And okay, you maybe you can improve, you can practice, but in the end, the message is the most important part.
Yeah.
What about you, Gwen?
Yeah.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Getting over the fear of speaking is still a hurdle for me. But my friend downstairs says, don't worry, I still understand you. And if I don't, we'll just keep at it until I do. So, even her daughter, I was speaking with her and she says, I said, your English is great. She goes, yes, but I can only speak in the present tense. And I go, me too. So this is good.
Wow.
It made me feel better.
But, the thing is
don't give up.
Yeah, don't give up, but because it's easy to request a glass of wine. I mean, you can learn that stuff. A glass of wine or...
How do you ask, Alan? Can you tell us the sentence?
Je vais prendre un verre de vin.
Très bien, très bien.
But if you really want friends and they're French, you've got to be able to just kind of have a conversation. Ask about your family. Ask about what's bothering you. Ask about, if you're concerned for them. And to do that, you just have to know how to speak. Right?
I kn-
Tu as raison.
Tu as raison.
Tu as raison. Tu as raison.
Tu as raison.
Speaking of that, I know it's a bit of a shortcut, but could you tell us, for the people who are listening to us, some sentences that you cherish, some French sentences that you couldn't live without, that you like? I know that, for instance, we laugh with Gwen because you learned this very cute sentence called "Sache que je t'aime, know that I love you." It's not very typical, but I know, Gwen, you have, as an artist, you like beautiful things and you like, the formal French. But I don't know, do you have any sentences or expressions that you'd like to share?
Well, of course, you took my favorite one, but I can't say that to just anyone. I have to say that to people I love.
I always call the young man downstairs. I'd go, "That's your petite amie," and that means boyfriend.
No. Yes, je ne comprends pas. That is one of my
That's the
favorites.
best.
I don't understand.
Désolé. We use désolé quite a bit.
Ah oui.
Désolé.
What else?
Mon français est très malade.
Il fait beau. I love that one.
Mauvais.
Il fait beau.
Yeah,
Il
it's
fait
always
beau aujourd'hui. Yeah.
But you have to say that every day in Nice. Il fait beau aujourd'hui.
yes.
Où est les toilettes?
Ah, où sont?
Où
Because
sont
toilette
les
is plural. Où sont les
Ah
toilettes?
oui, ah oui. Où sont les toilettes?
Où est la bibliothèque?
Oui.
From my French school days.
Ah, yeah. That's the one that you don't use, no? Où est la bibliothèque? Do you go? Do you go to la bibliothèque? No.
No.
Well,
Yeah, there's one that we go to, Jean Médecin. We've gone to.
that's the libraire.
Oh, that's library.
False
we have-
friends. Bibliothèque et librairie. Librairie, you buy the books. Bibliothèque, you rent the books. Yeah. Faux amis. Faux amis.
Ça va. We always go, ça va? Et toi?
À tout à l'heure.
Ça va, ça va? Ouais, ça va.
À bientôt.
À bientôt.
Yeah.
Thanks to you. You have really given us a lot of confidence.
Oh, I'm glad. Je suis contente. Je suis contente. And as we are going towards the end of our chat, you already gave plenty of information for people who are looking at us. But do you have any last tip, un conseil, something you want to share for? Imagine that some people are in your situation when Alan, you proposed to Gwen, should we go to France? And you had this moment of, is it crazy? Est-ce que c'est fou? Or should we go? What do you advise to the people who are a little bit on the fence?
Well, come for a visit.
No.
Let's see.
Take the jump. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's take the jump because guess what? If it's an area, you don't have to sell everything. Some people do that. But if you feel uncertain, keep your house, come on over, spend a month, spend 2 months, spend a year, because you can always go back. I mean, so that's my tip, right?
Especially if you want to keep, your bank account in the U.S., you need a physical address. Right?
Yeah. So, but just don't have to just tear up everything and move on over if you're not certain. But
Pas de souci.
Pas de souci, très
No
bien.
worries.
Pas de souci, ouais. Wow, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup for this beautiful conversation. I make sure that I put the link of the book of your friend Gina from the
Okay.
Camino, and I can share some social where if you want to, I don't know if you display your art somewhere, like
I
the
Show you on Instagram.
yeah. So if you want, I can put the link.
Okay.
Maybe we'll
Okay.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, merci beaucoup pour cette conversation. Et puis, let's see how things go. If Alan managed to convince Gwen to pour toujours, the forever in Nice.
Follow up.
Okay.
Free.
Follow up, ouais. Merci beaucoup. À
Merci
bientôt.
beaucoup. Merci à tous.
Monsieur.
Merci.
Oh.
À
Au
bientôt.
revoir.
If you are learning French and looking for a bit more structure and guidance, I also share a free weekly newsletter called Feel Good French Friday. It's designed especially for beginners and expats or future expats with simple content in French to help you build a regular learning routine. Because apps and the internet are amazing, a lot of free content out there, but sometimes having a bit of direction and support from a teacher and a language coach can really make a difference. You can sign up for free. The link will be below the video.